So this is how most people think about shoveling. And as you can see, I've just got a load of 3/4 minus in my trailer. It's got to be taken off. So that's shoveling, right? You start it, you push it in, and you throw it. Now a better way might be just to use momentum to load the shovel and turn and throw it. And that's entirely a workout on shoulders and arms and rotating your lower back. That's why shoveling kills people's backs. But that's better. You're moving more dirt. But here's the real way to shovel loose material. You get behind the work. You take the shovel, in this case a round nose, and you use the shovel as a lever, your leg as a fulcrum. Can you see that? I don't know if that's 5 times faster or 10 times faster or 20 times easier, but I can tell you this, you can move a lot more dirt like that and still be able to function once you get home at night than either of those other 2 ways. So that was all done with a round nose digging shovel. I want you guys to tell me what size that is. I don't really know. This is a smaller, I think that's a number 2 shovel. And clearly, you don't move as much material and you don't strain yourself. Equally clearly, if it's a hard material that you're digging and you have to push it in, well, a smaller shovel feels good, right? But let me show you the difference between a round nose shovel, which is essentially made for digging, and a transfer shovel. Now, most of my life, I call this a square point shovel, or a flat nose shovel, or a flat shovel. The real name I learned about a year ago is a transfer shovel. This is made specifically for transferring or moving material from one place to another. And the beauty is, it cleans the surface as you go. Now maybe that's self-evident, but in construction, in a world that includes hydraulics, most of the time today, a shovel is for establishing a grade or simply moving material a little ways. Now, if this was subgrade underneath a slab, and I was trying to get it nice and flat, I'll just move a little down here. Now, if that needs to be flat, this tool is not much good because it doesn't make anything flat. A rake is pretty good, but can you see that a transfer shovel can also work like a broom? You can get material to grade. And the trick is, as Dennis Bunker used to scream at us, you put the high spots into the low spots. So a transfer shovel is a different tool with different strengths and weaknesses than a round nose shovel. So let me show you a couple more varieties so you have a chance of having the right tool for the right job, because the right tool can make any job better, faster, easier. These are round nose shovels that I modified. I cut the sides off of them. This is, I think, more what you would call a spade now. And spade, I think, denotes only good for pushing it into the ground, for digging, right? Not for moving so much. And this is a variation on a theme. This is pretty much what you would call a trenching shovel. Parallel sides, so you can carve out a trench for a pipe with a minimum amount of effort. They make trenching shovels that are long, like 24 inches, for digging a long, deep, painful trench. One more broad general category of shovel is shovels with a D handle, letter D handle, and these are more specialized. And what they are not specifically good for is digging per se. Now in Las Vegas, when I was down there, the culture in Las Vegas was almost all D-handled shovels and pouring concrete. And the beauty of this, a D-handle, is you can grade, but at pour time, when you're pouring, if that was concrete, a D-handle enables you to control carefully how much material is going onto the edge of your slab. You see that? Now a long-handled shovel doesn't have the control on shaking the material off. It's not that great for this because you can't get the advantage of the leverage we were talking about. So it's a finer kind of a tool. I use this for a dustpan in my wood shop. Now this, interestingly, came straight out of the mines of Moria. And I don't know how it ended up in my shop, but I'm just glad to have it. These are popular in the Shire, okay? But in real life, and taking all of the pathetic dad joke element out of this, the only place I can visualize this being useful is in a confined space. In a mine shaft, for crying out loud, or someplace where you're banging a long handle into the wall of the granary. You know, maybe you've got grain to clean out, or you're scooping a snow shovel, you know, around in the patio where a long handle is more of a liability than an asset. A D-handle round nose, I guess. I mean, kind of, but it's harder on your back. Digging is a great activity if you've got a 14-year-old boy that you want to teach to work hard. I mean, nothing is as measurable as how much dirt you've pulled out of the ground or moved off the trailer, and nothing is unrelenting dependent on his effort like digging is, right? Well, I don't know about nothing, but so I've disturbed this grade earlier in the year. Some of it's mud, some of it's compacted, some of it's not. But I can demonstrate first why a square point shovel that I love so much for transferring, a transfer shovel, is almost worthless for digging, because who can push 9 inches of straight edge straight down into the ground? I mean, it's just hard to do. And so whatever this shovel is great for in terms of transferring, it's severely limited for digging. Now these round nose shovels are somewhat better, but this is still pretty hard down there. But you can get it started and then land on it. This is not rocket science, but don't be afraid to use the leverage of the handle and try not to break the handle off. So you get that first scoop out, that's a win. The next one, you make a thin bite. I mean, it's like slicing the bologna off the loaf, right? You don't drop in 2 inches, on the bologna. You just drop in a little bit and you run into a rock, you use impact, and then you pry it loose and you set it off to the side, and then you circle around there and look for all the advantages you can. Now that's a standard digging shovel. This smaller shovel goes in easier, moves less material, doesn't hurt so bad. So if you're teaching your 14-year-old boy how to shovel, how to work, you can also teach him about Pascal's law, which is a principle of hydraulic mechanisms, that pressure inputted into a vessel full of oil or water, any incompressible fluid, is going to distribute that pressure everywhere, and thus backhoes, excavators, front-end loaders, and he will immediately flash on the fact that, Dad, you need to buy an excavator. I don't want a shovel anymore. And you'll say, that's all right, son. Humankind has been running shovels for a long time, and it will do you good to raise a blister. Thanks for watching Essential Craftsman, and keep up the good work.